What's going on, family? This is Theodore Helvavir, aka Big Teddy of the More Than Just Surviving Life podcast. Let's go. We're going to jump right into it. We're having a very important discussion today, okay? And they're all going to be important discussions, but this is major. And you know why it's major? Because it's one of the key building blocks to everything that we're talking about, everything that we're working on, everything that we're striving to do and shooting for. This is how do I get better, okay? How do I get better? How do I get better is built around the self-improvement pyramid. I'm going to say it for you again. Self-improvement pyramid. Okay? And this pyramid that we're talking about is made up of 4 things. The desire to be better. The belief you can be better. Self-honesty. Self-awareness. Okay? And those 4 different parts come together and work together as in a whole to be the platform for everything else we build on. So why are they so important? The reason they're so important is because one of the number one things that really affects us and hurts us as people and as individuals, no matter how smart you are, it doesn't matter if you feel as though you're at the top of the intelligence ladder or at the bottom or you're just average and you have a respect for that knowledge, self-deception is something that affects all of us. So what is self-deception, right? How does self-deception stop us? How does self-deception hurt us? All right, so let's be clear. We're not talking about self-doubt. We're talking about self-deception. Here's the difference between the two. Self-doubt is, I don't think I can do this. I don't think I'm good enough. I don't think I'm smart enough. I don't think I'm strong enough. And this is something that hurts us. This is something that keeps us from reaching and going and being where we want to be. But self-deception is just as dangerous. Now, what's self-deception? Self-deception is that paranoia mindset. Everyone around me is plotting on me. Everyone wants me to fail. Everyone is out to get me. Okay? What do we say about the Raylan Givens story? If you go throughout your day and you meet an asshole, you met an asshole. If you go throughout your day and you met 10 assholes, you're the asshole. That's self-deception. Okay? And both of these things hurt us in different ways. How do we combat those? How do we get better at those? The 2 most important parts of getting better at those are self-honesty and self-awareness. But something else that matters and something else that helps is when and if you have someone, and all you need is one person that you can really trust close to you, be it a significant other or your best friend or your favorite sibling. You need that one person that when they say something to you and it's a critique, is this true? Let me look at this. And we're not always going to be fortunate enough to have other people do that for us. And we can't always wait until other people do that for us to get where we need to be. And that's why the self-improvement pyramid is so important. All of this has to start with the desire. It has to be there. You have to want it. You have to need it. And my hope for you, like I talk about in the book, whether you've picked it up or not, is that you get to the desire and you get to the place that you want to be better, that hunger, to really improve yourself and be whole inside before you hit rock bottom. Because a lot of people don't change, don't work on change, don't work on growth until they hit rock bottom. And some people don't even work on it then, okay? You can't wait until you have nothing left. You can't wait until you have nothing left. And my hope is that if you're here with me today and you're listening and you're taking the time to let this podcast sink in and you're letting the voice flow, then it's because you want to be better. It's because you want more. It's because you want to feel whole inside, because you want to start improving on these things. It's because you want to be consistent, again, with your eating healthy. You want to not be depressed. You want to feel good inside. You want to have better relationships and interaction with people. I'm going to work on these things because all of these things are affected by self-improvement. How we communicate with ourselves, how we communicate with each other, how we treat ourselves and each other, and the quality of life that lets us live and be a part of, right? So one of the hardest parts of self-honesty and self-awareness is that self-deception that lets us think and allows us to believe we're always in the right. It's never our fault. It's always somebody else's fault. It's always something someone else does. I didn't do that. I don't need to work on that. Everyone else is the problem. If you think that, you are the problem. You are one of the biggest problems. And getting healthy is about changing that mindset. Personal responsibility is not meant to make you feel sad or feel bad. It's meant to help you develop and be stronger. Okay, so one of my favorite episodes of the Boondocks is a conversation that happens between Riley, Jen Rummy, and Ed Wunsler. And these two characters are played by Samuel L. Jackson and Eddie Murphy, right? And they're on the way to a robbery, and Riley is learning about Jen. And he finds out that Jen was a soldier in Iraq. And they went over to find the weapons of mass destruction. This was the big thing for the Iraq war, right? So Riley was like, did you find them? And he was like, we ain't find no goddamn weapons of mass destruction. But the story that he tells, which is pertinent to this, is there are known knowns, known unknowns, and unknown unknowns. Known knowns are things that we know. Known unknowns are things we know we don't know. Unknown unknowns are things we don't know we don't know. And that's what this is about, the unknown unknowns. Self-deception is an unknown unknown. If you're lying to you, but you believe your lies, then there are things going on that you don't know are wrong. If you don't know something's wrong, if you don't know it's a problem, how can you fix it? How can you get better at it? How can you stop it from hindering you? How can you stop it from beating you? Okay? We get so confident in our known unknowns, the things we know we don't know, that we don't think there can be anything else hindering. But I'm going to tell you, the reason we always start at the beginning with looking for the problems and finding the problems to fix the problems is because if you're ignoring them, they never go away. Burying a problem doesn't make it better. Burying a sickness doesn't make it better. It makes it stronger. It makes it go deeper. It makes it last longer. It makes it harder to uncover. And that's what a lot of us are fighting and facing and striving to overcome in these challenges. We are fighting against practices and habits and beliefs that we have had for years. And you know what? Sometimes people sit down and they honestly say and they think to themselves, this is too big. I can't do this. I can't do this. If this has been going on for years, how am I supposed to change this overnight? One step at a time. 1 foot at a time. Okay? I have a friend, and I have many friends that do this. I have a friend that I really care about, right? And my friend is going through some heavy stuff right now. And his first part is there. And that's taking it easy for him because he knows the things he's dealing with right now are too much to handle. So he's taking a step back and he's relaxing. But he's stopping there. That's the problem. Just because you realize there's a problem doesn't mean you stop working on it. It doesn't get better if there's no forward movement. Okay, so you have, again, a lot of us that realize there's something wrong if we're lucky enough to get there, and then all movement, all effort to work on it stops. There is no progress. Without progress, there can be no growth. Okay, so this is why these things are so important to talk about and touch on and realize and understand, because you got to accept them. Okay, but after you accept them, well, where do we go from there? We get it. We work on it. Barricades, I run right through them. That's the mindset that you got to have. You got to want this. All right, so what do we do? We're going. You're talking. Let's start working. Let's start moving. Let's start doing. Okay, the desire to be better, the belief that you can be better. Because if you don't believe it, what's the point of doing it? It's like those New Year's resolutions that we crap out on. Okay, I want it. I want to be healthier. Yeah, I'm going to get slim. But then you start putting in that work and you start sweating and you start, I don't feel like getting up early to do this. And you lose the belief that it's an achievable goal. So what happens with a goal you don't believe you can reach? You stop. You stop. Okay? You have to be hungry, but you got to believe too. It's not just one thing. None of this is just one thing. None of getting better. None of being happier. None of being stronger. None of building and having the life that you desire and want for yourself is a one-step process. Something that we need to get rid of. Something that we need to kill. Something that needs to die. And it's not even just our generation. It's not just our people. Okay? It's not just our culture. But the only ones I'm talking to is us. Is the desire for instant gratification. The belief that if something doesn't happen immediately, it's not worth it. That's false. Everything worth having, everything worth achieving, everything takes hard work. It takes time. It doesn't matter if we're talking about relationships. It doesn't matter if we're talking about a career. It doesn't matter if we're talking about being physically healthy, mentally healthy, spiritually healthy. It takes work. It takes time, okay? And you got to be willing to put that time in. You pay the cost to be the boss. What you get into this, just like your workout, is going to be what you get out of it. So the effort that you make is equal to the love that you take. The effort that you make is equal to the love that you take. And these words that I'm speaking to you right now, this is my effort and this is my love. This process didn't just happen overnight. Is it easy to do some of this stuff? Yeah, if you have a small aptitude, yes. Even a little bit of understanding, it's doable. There are hundreds of thousands of people that podcast every day, okay? There are hundreds of thousands of people that have written books. But these are all supreme acts of effort and will. And you know what pushed me to them? What keeps me consistent with them? What makes sure I'm going to do them every day? You, me, us, my family, our people. Because that's who I'm doing this for us. To share this information, to share this knowledge so that we can be better and stronger together, that we can be healthier and happier and more prosperous as a people. And if these words help even one person, it's worth it. But having the access and the ability to share this with thousands of people is that much better, is that much more important. You need to find that for yourself, that thing that makes you want to do something no matter what. It's sometimes hard to be healthy if you're doing it healthy just for you. But if you got on too much weight and you breathing hard and heavy and your heart gets tired real fast and you got a little girl or a little boy and you don't know if you're going to be here with them to look after them and keep them safe because your heart is just, because you're not in shape, you're going to hit that workout. You hear me? You're going to hit that treadmill. But it has to be for something that matters. I just don't like studying. I'm not a fan of it. But them student loans is coming up. Okay? And them post-college jobs is looking, and there's no internships on deck. You need to shine. You need to be stellar. You want that promotion? You trying to get this extra income because you're doing all of this different work with no title and you're not getting paid for all the work that you do and you need a better way to approach that, but you're not good at conversations? Well, I'm going to help you get good at talking. We're going to do it. Even if you got to start just talking with me. Improvement, progress is a process, but you have to want it. You have to need it. You have to be hungry for it. Self-honesty is saying, no, self-awareness is saying, I'm not hungry enough. Self-honesty is being like, that's true and I need to get better. And then we take it back to the beginning. All right, now I got the belief and the desire because I know it's true. I am my biggest, harshest critic when it comes to improving as a man, as a person, okay, as a Helvavir, as a leader, as all the things that I am and all the things that I desire to be. Because if I'm not checking me, who's checking me? All right? If you're not screaming free Pimp C, what is you saying? You're going to hear it at least once an episode. Believe that. If I'm not checking me, who's checking me? Whose standards am I living to? I guarantee you they're not as high as mine. That same friend that I was just talking to you about that's in his funk, that's not moving past the place that he's in, I told him, I want everything more than most people want anything. And all the things I want for me, I want for us as a people. I want for you. I want for you to want for yourself. Not the way I'm doing it, your way. You feel me? The self-improvement pyramid, we're going to run it down again. The desire to be better. The belief that you can. Self-honesty, self-awareness. This is what it's about. Having honest, accurate communication with yourself so that you can have it with others. Taking some time for yourself at the end of the day to say, all right, well, I've been miserable the last 5 days in a row. What needs to change? What needs to be different? That's what you're doing. That's all you're doing. You're fact-checking yourself. You're fact-checking your life. You're looking for the discrepancies. You're giving yourself an honest and critical assessment. What am I not doing? I've tried to go to the gym 3 times in the last month, and I haven't made it not once. What am I doing? What am I doing with that time? Am I procrastinating? Most people don't want it that bad. 2 things that tie into this conversation that come from 2 of my mentors that I very much respect and who sat down with each other and shared agreement is 1, most people don't want things as bad as they think they want them. And whether they're talking about them and complaining about them every day, they're not putting in the work for them. You heard me? Because if they were, they wouldn't have to talk about them and complain about them because they'd be working on them. They'd be getting past them, moving forward on them. Kevin Hart said it. He says it all the time. And no matter what I agree or don't agree on with Kevin, I love this saying. Everybody wants to be famous. Nobody wants to do the work. Everybody want to be famous. Nobody want to do the work. Number 2, consistency. You got to stick in there. This is a long-term haul, long-term hard work for long-term realistic and impactful gain. And you know what the crazy part is? We just talked about how we have to let go of the desire for instant gratification. Okay? We got to get rid of that reward system in adults and as adults. But the crazy part is, when you start working on it every day, there's progress every day. And that's real. That's real. And you got to be able to honestly measure your progress, honestly measure what you haven't done and how far you need to go, and then keep going. Too many people give up. That's what both these gentlemen have said and taught me, and what I've seen myself my entire life. Okay? They said I've seen people be 1 step away from getting where they've been shooting for that whole time, making their first mill, and they get so discouraged, they give up just before they were about to blow. Blowing, making it, achieving your goals, being better, being healthier is definable by 1 person's standards and 1 person alone. And that's yours. So I'm going to keep being here with you every day. I'm going to keep talking with you every day. We're going to keep building every day. But if you don't want it, we're not going anywhere. You gotta want this for you as bad as I want it for you. And I'm gonna give you a news flash. I want it for you. I believe in you. I love you. Bless up, family. Thank you for tuning in today. We'll talk again soon. The Self-Improvement Pyramid. Be blessed.